Okay. We're going to start with a special council meeting. There are two first reading passage requests. 2026-081. Mike Vinay will address council.
Thank you, President, and thank you for the special session this evening. This piece is in regards to, once again, the bridge deck replacement project in the city of Monroe Falls on State Route 91. It traverses the Cayuga River. This has been a long-planned project by the Ohio Department of Transportation. We've passed several pieces of legislation regarding this project as far as our participation due to the replacement of the sanitary sewer that's connected to the bridge. There have been several cost estimates provided by the Ohio Department of Transportation. Those have since changed numerous times with this final increase due to the department actually receiving bids for the project. They do need a timely commitment of these funds. Without the commitment, it risks the project being delayed a year. There's been long-term planning for this project. I believe it's going to close traffic both ways for 120 days. They want to meet construction this season, hence the request for the special legislative meeting. Happy to answer any questions. There's also representatives from the Ohio Department of Transportation here to answer any questions as well.
Yes.
Mike, did you say that if we can't get this tonight, then it'll close the road for 120 days, or it's going to be regardless because of the work?
The closures, regardless, it's just they're still trying to maintain this construction season. I believe if they don't get the commitment of these funds, they have to basically start their entire process all over again as far as getting a new estimate, going back out to bid, and a lot of the processes that they have to follow in order to get a contract awarded.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Mr. Schmidt?
Fortunately, we have the mayor of Monroe Falls with us here this evening, who's going to be affected by this, if he would care to say anything. Thank you, Madam President.
He mentioned it in his State of the City address.
Okay, if there are no further questions, Jeff, are you good with this?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
2026-082, David Magura will address council.
Hello. David Magora, Summit County Court of Common Pleas General Division. So I presented this item last week, and there was a typographical error on it, and we are asking for the resolution to read for a term of 10/1/26 to 9/30/29 to align with the grant terms from the Bureau of Justice Assistance. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? David, are you okay with this one? Okay. All right. Thank you. There are no late filings. There's no routine legislation. There are no second readings or third readings. We'll now rise for the pledge, led by Councilwoman Rita Darrow, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Hyam?
Here.
Mr. Donofrio? Mr. Cajun? Ms. Dickinson?
Here.
Mr. Ford? Mr. Wilhite?
Here.
Ms. Darrow? Mr. Lacotte?
Here.
Ms. McKinney? Ms. Walters? First readings, 2026-81, an amended resolution authorizing the executive to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation and to appropriate funds for the construction costs for the relocation of the sanitary sewer line due to the bridge deck replacement on State Route 91 located in the city of Monroe Falls in Council District 3 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services emergency.
Madam Chair, I'm asked for a suspension of the rules and adoption.
I have a motion to suspend and adopt 2026-081. On the suspension, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
2026-82, an amended resolution authorizing the executive to execute any documents necessary to apply for a public safety grant from the United States Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance for the Hope Court for the period of October 1, 2026 through September 30, 2029 for an estimated amount of $674,575.52 with an estimated local cash match requirement of $387,750.49 for an estimated total amount of $1,062,326.01 for the Court of Common Pleas General Division, Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2026-082.
I have a motion to suspend and adopt 2026-082. On the suspension, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Unless there's any other business to come before this meeting, we are adjourned at 4:37 and we'll move into committees. Nathan Jarose, founder of the organization Leadership Influencing Teen Empowerment, will present to council.
I'm just messing with you, fine. You got extra stuff.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I want to thank Madam President, members of council. My name is Nathan Jarose, the founder and CEO of LIGHT, which stands for Leadership Influencing Teen Empowerment. And LIGHT is a nonprofit organization that provides leadership development training to area high school and middle school students. And the approach I have taken with LIGHT is one that has been focusing on just doing good work and to support and empower students in Northeast Ohio. But while being so focused on advancing the mission, I realize that as an organization, we have to do a better job of getting our story out to the public. So I would like to thank all of you for allowing me this opportunity to share where we came from, where we are now, and some of the hopes for our future. So a little bit about us as an organization. LIGHT was founded 9 years ago with the belief that leadership is a skill that can be taught, that can be learned, developed through the right practice, experience, and opportunity. My background before starting LIGHT was involved in extensive leadership training, starting with my experience in the Boy Scouts as an Eagle Scout, where the Eagle Scout journey was not the end, but rather the beginning, that sparked more opportunities to lead, serve, and be involved in the development of leadership courses and training modules across the United States and even internationally. These programs, among non-scouting programs, helped me discover strategic ways to teach leadership skills to students and how best to deliver concepts typically taught in a higher educational setting to students in the 6th through 12th grades. I know these concepts extensively through my background, which includes a general management degree, and a master's in organizational leadership, and the current pursuit of a doctorate from Kent State University in interprofessional leadership. And through both the academic and experiential factors in my life, I noticed how leadership opportunities would gravitate to people like myself, but also colleagues who I have worked alongside. And it wasn't that my colleagues or I were special, but rather we had the unique experience to develop skills that were not frequently or typically taught to everyone, and instead typically taught to a select few. And so at that time, we began to wonder, what if everyone had this access to leadership skills? How would our culture, how would our community change if this education was offered to everyone? And so before starting this organization, we had to do our research to make sure that we were not reinventing the wheel or doing things that were already being done. And what we discovered was that although there are many youth leadership organizations that exist, they're not always accessible to everyone, whether it's through a membership fee, whether it's selection of 1 or 2 students, or a scholarship program. However, LIGHT's mission was to make sure that every student had the equal opportunity and no student was left behind. And so the approach we take is just like a corporate trainer or professional development, but instead of going to adults, going into the classroom, working directly with the students so that each and every student gets the experience if they show up to class. Now, after exploring what the community was at this point lacking and what was already existing and how we differ from other organizations, we had to discover if this type of education would be supported by the community. And so I conducted a survey with 319 individuals, mostly from the Northeast Ohio area, that also included some from across the nation. And all of them were adults involved in either scouting programs that were leadership-based or Toastmasters International. And 95% of the respondents said that they wished that they would have learned those leadership skills when they were younger. And similarly, 95% said that they would support leadership courses to be taught in high school and middle schools. Some qualitative data shared from those different people in leadership. One said many people in leadership positions are in leadership positions due to non-leadership accomplishments such as technical expertise, age, job position, or wealth. Since leadership quality impacts the quality of life and performance of so many people, including followers and other leaders, it is imperative that we teach leadership and talk about it. It is simply part of a good education and directly connected to good citizenship. Another comment from that survey said that ultimately all people are leaders, even if we are only leading themselves. Making good decisions is what leaders do, and what leadership training provides are opportunities to build these necessary skills. And lastly, most of us learn leadership by example and training. Without a good leader, it is difficult for a group, business, organization, church, or nation to be successful in whatever they do. Leadership skills teach you to be a good follower as well as a good leader, and leaders are the glue that holds any group together. If there are no leaders, then how will people learn to work together? So there were many other responses, but it became clear that an organization like Light would offer significant value to this community. And after a pilot period serving 8 different high schools and 800 students with a fellow nonprofit organization, the feedback we received was one of excitement and a hope for more. Now, where we are now, we have already completed 8 school years, in our 8th year, and Light has served over 5,500 students. We have served schools like East, Bookdale, Ellett, Firestone, Garfield, Kenmore, and Garfield before they merged, Miller South, STEM Middle School, North High School, Green High School, Nordonia High School, Twinsburg High School, and Lawrence School. We have also served students in neighboring counties as well, but 83% of all the students we serve reside here in Summit County. Light also has partnered with fellow organizations to be a go-to leadership resource in the area, providing sessions to community partners like iCare Mentoring, Jobs for Ohio's Graduates, Scouting America, Start Strong, Project Grad, homeschool co-ops, and tutoring groups. In our data, 95% of students claim that what we teach them is new information. And what that means is that they're not receiving this content in school, in their extracurricular activities, nor at home. Light sessions operate in about 40 to 45 minutes in a typical class period and are offered to schools and community organizations. It's sort of like a leadership menu that we can allow schools to pick certain topics that they feel are valuable. And these sessions currently include purpose, communication skills, finding solutions, team development, emotional intelligence, DISC behavioral styles, engagement, ethics, conflict management, followership, creative thinking, unconscious bias, leadership styles, and interview prep. Some of the many benefits that these sessions provide our students include envisioning themselves as leaders, increasing self-confidence, developing strategic goals, enhancing active listening, offsetting peer pressure, working successfully as a team, promoting personal values, and modeling servant leadership. Light has also offered programs to adults as well as even different leadership camps to assist schools in their development. Now, Light has received tremendous support from this very community. So we have received support from the Akron Community Foundation, the Meetin Family Foundation, Synthomer, and various other foundations, businesses, and individual donors. We also partner with our community, and being the very first and longest serving college and career all schools college and career academies partner with United Way of Summit and Medina Counties, with the Akron Public Schools, a partner with the Summit Education Initiative, or SEI, and we're one of the founding partners of the Youth Success Summit. So now for the brief ask of this meeting is that I understood that when starting a nonprofit organization, it requires data in order to receive greater funding and support. We have a successful track record. We have survived 9 years and have expanded and adapted and innovated for almost a decade. But being a new organization, that's not without challenges, because what we do is unlike the other organizations and programs that exist here in Summit County and Northeast Ohio. And I know that Summit County is known for being bold, innovative, and supportive of its community. And so I'm here today with the hope to explore county funding or support for Light, as Light has accomplished so much with such a small budget and personal sacrifice. And I know that with the support with this county, that this organization can elevate to even higher and generate an even greater impact on the lives of our students and community partners in the area. Light is aligned with Summit County's priorities, such as promoting workforce training and growth, equity, inclusion, upward mobility, and collaboration. And as I wind down, I would love to share some brief testimonials or encounters with the students. And so, for example, a teacher who once told me after our communication session that there was a girl in the front row of the class and he had never heard her voice speak up until that day. Another teacher shared with me a student who participated in this program doing one of our scenarios, and the teacher told me that this is the first time all school year that student decided to participate in a class. And some words directly from the students. One said, "I love how it changed my opinion on working with people. It was great advice, and I will truly never forget this. And I believe that it will greatly impact me in the future." Another said, "My favorite part was him actually relating it to real-life situations." Another, "My favorite part of the program was coming up with solutions for problems in my school." And then lastly, "This was one of the best programs in school that I have ever experienced. A very thorough trip through the realms of leadership." So I'm incredibly passionate about this work because I believe that every student should feel that they have a voice, that they are seen, and that they can lead their lives with confidence. But we have to do our part and give them the tools to effectively do so. You shouldn't have to be on a national leadership program or have a master's degree to learn how to lead yourself, effectively work in a team, and add value to the lives of other people. And so I need help with the expansion of this organization to another level and hope for a greater partnership that can emerge so that when we proactively prepare students for leading in the workforce, reduce youth violence and bullying, promote engaged citizenship, and most importantly, help students realize their full potential. Thank you so much for your time and for the opportunity to share a little bit about this organization that is impacting the lives of students here in Summit County. Thank you, Madam President. Thanks.
Madam President, a question. Nathan, have you tried to align your program with Junior Leadership Akron? It seems like it'd be a natural progression coming out of the public schools and then going into the Junior Leadership program.
Yeah, so actually I did partner with Junior Leadership Akron several years ago with one of their programs. The main difference between Leadership Akron and Light is that Leadership Akron will select about 2 juniors from each high school. And then each month they learn more about the community, the Summit County Akron community, whereas Light is more of the inside-out approach of going into leadership training techniques, strategies, plans, and going into the classroom where it's not a hand-selected group of students, but rather the entire class that shows up. But we have had some discussions with Leadership Akron, and we're always willing to partner with any nonprofit organization or business in this area.
Nathan, did you make sure you gave the information to Mark to get to the rest of the council and the organization, the nonprofit?
Yes, I'd be happy to give any information you'd like to receive about Light, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, before we jump into a Public Works Committee, Stephanie Crothers is here from the Department of Job and Family Services. Stephanie?
Good evening. Thank you for giving me a couple minutes of your time. I was asked to come in and just let everyone have an overview of some of the effects that House Bill 1 changes are having at the Department of Job and Family Services and the citizens of Summit County that we're currently serving. The department that I work in, the caseworkers currently are manning our call center, and as you may or may not know, about 90 to 95% of all of our interactions with the clients in Summit County is done over the phone. So what I want to do is just give you a comparison of where our call numbers were back in 2025, February, and where we are at the end of February 2026. So the number of calls that we took during those 2-month periods was approximately 19,000 calls. So the number of calls didn't necessarily increase, but what did change was our answer rate of calls and our average speed of call answering, which obviously is affecting our citizens as we're not able to keep up as well as we were in 2025. So our answer rate in 2025 was approximately 81% answer rate on calls, and this year it was at 63.6%. So we had a drop of being able to answer approximately 4,000 calls between February of 25 and February of 26. Our answer rate, the speed went from about 11 minutes in February of 25 to approximately 25 minutes answer rate in 26. We are also approximately rolling over about 500 phone calls every day. So that means every night at the end of our night, there's about 500 people that their calls are not getting answered. That is very new to us. Normally, we are able to handle every call that is coming in every day. So we are having callbacks daily, which is obviously affecting some of our customer service. Some of these changes are due to the fact that obviously our staffing has declined. We have not been able to hire now for about 1.5 years. We're down about 40 case managers that normally would be taking phone calls in our call center. In addition to that, they're having to ask for additional verifications to determine eligibility. And then we also have the additional work requirements that we're having to go through on all of these phone calls. The other important thing that our staff is doing is as they're taking these calls, they're very aware of the need to be accurate with the state QC and needing to be below 6% with that SNAP error rate. They're taking extra time on every call just to make sure accuracy is there. So I guess what we're asking is, as you're speaking with constituents, as people are probably getting a little frustrated, we are doing our best. We are working through calls as quickly and accurately as we can, but just wanted to let you know where we're at if you are getting any questions.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coming and speaking
Sure.
with us today about the challenges that you're facing. So you said you're down 40 case managers.
Approximately.
Approximately 40 case managers. Is that a direct result of the funding decreases that we see from the federal government and the state, or is it a combination of ability to hire and decrease in fundings?
I would tell you that it's mostly based on the funding and not being 100% sure yet where that 25% is going to come from with the admin costs coming down toward the counties.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, Stephanie. When you talk about accuracy on these calls, can you explain that a little bit? Because I believe when I was in Columbus, they were talking about a rate, you get rated. Could you please explain that?
So every case, well, not every case, but cases are randomly pulled by the state for review for accuracy. They basically are looking at, are the expenses in the case correct? Are the resources in the case correct? Are the income in the cases correct? Each case, if it's incorrect, they look at the dollar amount of, here's what the client was issued, here's what they should have been issued, and then they give a percentage of an error rate per case. That error rate, based on House Bill 1, now will need to be below 6% in every state. So again, it's not, Summit County actually historically has done very well with our error rate. This past year, we only had 2 errors, and they were actually both client errors. They weren't even our case manager's errors. But with House Bill 1 changes, the errors are no longer directly on each county specifically. It's a state error rate. So we are, again, really pushing with the caseworkers the importance of accuracy. And so they, doing their jobs and, wanting to do a good job, are very aware that they need to be making sure everything is entered correctly into the case.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Madam President, council members, you should have received late this afternoon a copy of interested party testimony that Executive Shapiro has submitted for tomorrow's Senate Finance Committee hearing, in which they are undertaking discussion on House Bill 730. Last week, you should have received from us interested party testimony that the executive submitted to the House in their Finance Committee for House Bill 730. House Bill 730, essentially the state of Ohio has said that they would fund $10 million of the $50 million shortfall created by the cut in federal funding for SNAP administration match. The $10 million apparently also allows for an additional $2.5 million of federal dollars to go in. The state House then implemented a quote-unquote brand new funding formula that deviates from the traditional funding formulas that have calculated mandated shares in these programs. And essentially, the smallest 59 counties were made whole, while the largest 29 counties, Summit County included, were then given an allotment of fixed dollars. In our case, it was $227,000, which is about 10% of the amount of funding we've lost from the federal government. What you will notice different in the testimony that was submitted for tomorrow's hearing, it gets into a lot more detail about RMS, about the notion that was bantered about during the Finance Committee hearings last week in the House, that there is this 50-50 share in costs, which is true on that one little program, and I shouldn't call SNAP little, but in the grand scheme of these Ohio Department of Job and Family Service programs, which includes TANF and CCMEP and SNAP and child care, adult and child protective services, and CSEA, child support enforcement. The notion that there's a 50-50 share is really, if you look at the budgets and the way those allocations come down, Summit County taxpayers and residents pay 3 times what the state of Ohio puts into those programs as a whole. It goes through and essentially itemizes this testimony for tomorrow, a number of the things that were said by members of the House that simply are not correct. I'm not going to go through and read all of it, but I would encourage you to read it. And we thought it was important to put on the record, whether it's going to change anything or not, that many of the things that the state is saying are just not correct. And I think those of us who've been here a long time, going back to local government cuts, to cuts in the Medicaid managed care organization sales tax cuts, cuts to inheritance tax, you name it. Folks today, our residents, and not just ours, but across the state, bemoaning the fact that property taxes have gotten so high. This is just one more example of 20-some years of things, or 30 probably, that the state continues to cut funding for or not chip in funding for, and then essentially trying to blame counties, which is a lot of what we heard, that counties don't want to agree to the 50-50 match. Well, the numbers, I think, speak for themselves. I would encourage you to read that testimony so that when residents, constituents ask you about this, that you have an understanding. And with that, we are happy to answer any questions from anybody on this body anybody from the public and anybody from the House or Senate who have questions about that testimony for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bethany has a question.
Thank you, Madam President. What is their explanation for making so many of the counties whole, but just giving us a small fraction? I mean, isn't one person in our county as valuable as a person in a smaller county?
I wish I could tell you. I think their thought was they could make as many as of these counties whole. The reality is, if you look at those counties, and there's some statistics in this testimony we submitted, the 82% of the funding they're providing goes to counties in which 43% of the SNAP recipients live. I think it's not hard to understand as well the makeup of the state legislature, which the representatives from those smaller communities outnumber the number of reps that represent the large communities. One of the things that was said in the testimony is the large counties are stating the impact of this. And there was a quote that was made about, we had looked at funding a position in every county. Stephanie alluded to the fact they're down roughly 60 positions. That's funding cuts. We estimate we need to cut another 40 positions, and the math is in here on why that works. So we felt it was important to go through it's a very tedious letter, I'm sure you're going to find when you read it, but we go through the math and explain how all of this works so that people can be clear when they're answering questions on that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everybody. We have a Resolution 2026-067 that we need to amend. May I have a motion to amend, please? Ms. Hyam made the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, I guess I get the pleasure of reading this. Resolution 2026-067, an amended resolution to extend the final design report due date to March 1, 2027 for Northfield Center Township's Dorwich Ditch petition pursuant to Section 6131.12 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency. Mr. Kuntz.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Wilhite, members of council. 2026-067 is the resolution that will extend the due date for the final report for the Dorwich Ditch project. This project design has been delayed while we have considered adding some work along the old existing small ditches along the backyards of three adjacent streets, four, Marwick, Kenwick, Pickwick, and Beacon Hill. There were some complaints shared with us by the township trustees, so we had our consultant B&N do some field work, some desktop investigations, and in addition, the township sent out a letter to all 125 homeowners along these streets to ask them what drainage issues they were having. Only 11 responses were received, and of these, only 3 pointed to common ditch problems that could be solved by the project. So in light of this, it was determined to not proceed with those additional areas on this project. So now the design can commence again. However, we are processing a change order to add some other major ditching and storm sewer cleaning and easements over some of those additional areas to the project, and have discussed this with our consultant, and have determined that the final design, permitting, easement plat, and easement appraisals can be completed by about February 1st of 2027. Therefore, we're asking that the due date for our report to your clerk be pushed back to March 1st, 2027. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have on this.
Any questions? I'm sorry.
This
Any
is
questions?
Northfield Center Township, by the way.
Any questions from members of the committee?
I just want to make sure, so the trustees and the residents, the 120-something residents, they're okay with all this being pushed back this far back? They're completely okay with it?
With the time frame?
Yeah, with the time frame, because this has been a long time project, so
It
that's
hasn't
the only
been a
reason why
long
I'm
time
asking.
drawn out.
Yeah.
We have discussed it with the trustees, not the individual homeowners. But
Okay.
this is the amount of time it's going to take starting now.
Right.
With the work that the consultant needs to finish.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kuntz, if I understood you right, you sent out communication to all the residents along both
The
sides.
the township sent out letters to all these 125 people that were in the area that were considering adding. Those people were in the initial petition area. At that time, it was unknown what would be done. And there's probably another 100 people or so that have been notified of both the public viewing and the first hearing. And all of them, over 200, will be notified of the final hearing when that time comes. That'll be, a year away.
Thank you. Bethany, did you have a question? No. Okay. Read it. Another question?
Yes, could I go on as a sponsor?
Sure. Any other questions from members of the committee or council? Hearing none. Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Kuntz.
Okay.
Okay, next up, we have 2020.
Excuse me, Mr. Wilhite, we need a motion, please,
We had a motion from,
to amend.
to amend. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can I have a motion to amend? I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for committee approval.
Great, thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Schmidt. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. We're good to go? Okay, next item is 2026-068, a resolution to extend the final design report due date to November 30th, 2026 for Coventry Township's Hinman Penguin Area Ditch Petition pursuant to Section 6131.12 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency. Mr. Kuntz.
Good evening. Thank you again for this opportunity. This project has also been delayed, not because anything was being added to the project. Actually, we're going to make the project just slightly smaller. When EDG prepared their preliminary plans, they were proposing that we obtain individual permits from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for the work in the wetlands and along the stream. As the design progressed, they did eventually come up with an estimate of the costs for mitigation credits related to the wetlands and the stream, and their estimate for those credits was $452,000. That's pretty close to the actual cost of the ditch work that was being done. So we put that on hold and decided to go back to the drawing board, asked another consultant, Sustainable Streams, to review it and let us know what they thought could be done to scale the project back to where it would still be a good functional project and yet be done under the nationwide permit program from the Army Corps. And just to let you know, the other projects we're doing, we already did Y Road, we have an Idlebrook project, Springfield Lake Outlet, Copley Ditch. They're all being done with nationwide permits. So anyhow, they did determine that, yes, the project could be modified so that it fell under the guidelines of a nationwide permit. And we have since gone back to EDG and are in the midst of negotiating a change order for them to finish the plans so that they will be under a nationwide permit. So this gives us time to get that done, as well as make up for the time that we've been waiting. So we've determined that we can complete all the work required by the end of October. So I've asked that I bring a report to you by November 30th to your clerk.
Great.
I'm here for any questions.
Any questions from members of council? Our committee, I'm sorry, council? Hearing none? Okay.
I'll move on that one.
Mr. Schmidt moves on 2026-068. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up is 2026-069, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with J.D. Williamson Construction Company, Inc. for the Snyder Avenue Bridge Design Build Project located in the city of Barberton in Council District 7 for a total amount not to exceed $1,690,386.70 for the engineer and declaring an emergency. Ms. Swindell.
Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This is a design build project, meaning we went out to bid and the contractor, the construction contractor, actually will be responsible for the design. In this case, they are hiring Palmer Engineering out of Uniontown to do the design, and then they will do the construction. It kind of shortens the process a little bit. We're hoping to get this done this year. But we got 80% funding from the CEAO Local Bridge Program, and then we're using some of our toll revenue credits for this bridge. So the local share out of this almost $1.7 million is only $100,000. So we're very pleased with J.D. Williamson. They're the only bidder, but we've worked with them in the past, and they're really great. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? Ms. Darrow moved on 2026-069. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is 2026-070, a resolution approving the time, place, and expense of the engineer's annual meeting of county and township authorities on May 5th, 2026, at Lala's in the Lakes located in the city of New Franklin in Council District 7 in an amount not to exceed $6,000 for the engineer and declaring an emergency. Ms.
Thank you. The Ohio Revised Code requires us to hold a meeting of all the road and bridge authorities in the county. So you're all invited, and it's going to be at Lala's in the Lakes again. We got rave reviews last time. Council does have to approve any hospitality purchases over $5,000. So we bring this to council, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Any questions of members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? Ms. Darrow moved on 2026-070. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will close Public Works at 5:15. I'm sorry, 5:12.
Planning and Economic Development will open at 5:12. Our first piece tonight is 2026-71, a resolution pursuant to Section 709.14 to 709.16 of the Ohio Revised Code and Section 125.01 of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit, granting the annexation of 11.47 acres of land in Springfield Township to the Village of Mogador in Council District 8 and declaring an emergency. Mr. Dodson. Hi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jason Dodson, Law Director for the Village of Mogador. Coming here this evening for an annexation that is provided for under Section 709.14 and the following sections. It is essentially one of the forms of an expedited annexation that is mandatory in order to be granted. I was kind of joking with Mr. Nelson about the nice way to say mandatory, but that's essentially what's provided for in the revised code. And the reason why it is set up that way is it is a piece of village-owned property that is in the township and is immediately contiguous with the village boundary. The land at issue is part of Mogador Lions Park. It's currently zoned residential in the township. It will come over residential and then be rezoned by the village as part of the park zoning designation within the village. And the reason why the village is doing it is we are in the process of applying for state money to expand the trail system within the park. And one of the questions that has come up multiple times is whether the land that the trail is going to sit on is in the village or not. And so we are doing the annexation to make sure all of the land will be actually inside the village that's applying for the trail funds.
Any questions? Ms. Hyam, do you want to move? I have a motion from Ms. Hyam on 2026-71. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
2026-072, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a lease agreement amendment and renewal with Project Learn of Summit County for a portion of the first floor at 175 South Main Street, located in the city of Akron in Council District 4 for educational and/or charitable use for the executive and declaring an emergency.
So council members, this is a renewal of a lease with Project Learn. They've occupied that space since 2016. I think that there are two little nuances to this that are different than previous leases. One is it has a provision that provides the county an ability to relocate them in the event of a construction project. The other is this is being moved from a 5-year lease to a 1-year lease. We've previously talked about all of our space on the first floor and the desire to look at opportunities to activate that for commercial retail space. So with that, the ability to keep this to a 1-year lease was important to us.
Any questions? Mr. Schmidt? Oh, sure. Sure. You want to move? Yeah. I have a motion from Mr. Wilhite on 2026-072. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. 2026-073, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a lease amendment and renewal with Service Corps of Retired Executives Association, Chapter 81, aka Akron SCORE, for a portion of the second floor at 175 South Main Street, located in the city of Akron in Council District 4, for educational and/or charitable use for the executive and declaring an emergency.
And this is an organization that has leased space on the second floor since 2011. We are, with them, continuing a 5-year lease because it's on the second floor, not the first, and the only change is the proviso about the ability to relocate them during a construction project.
Thank you. Does everyone want to go on as a co-sponsor again? Great. And I have a motion from Ms. Hyam on 2026-073. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Planning and Economic Development will close at 5:17.
Public Safety Committee will open at 5:17. We have 2 items of business. Start with 2024-074, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with the Great Life Spay Neuter Wellness LLC for veterinarian services at the Animal Control Facility for a 1-year term, the period 4/1/26 to 3/31/27, a total amount not to exceed $114,400 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety, Division of Animal Control, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Good evening. Tommy Smoot, Executive Department of Public Safety. I'd like to move forward with a professional service contract with Great Life Spay Neuter Wellness. They will provide a number of services, including spaying and neutering. They'll perform wellness exams on adoptable animals. They'll give rabies vaccinations. They will do telemedicine to the staff at the animal control facility there. Any kind of protocols or policies, they will make sure those are in place, and then any kind of consultation behind the scenes. And then there will also be the medical director for the terminal distribution for the medical license there, so for any kind of pharmaceuticals on site.
Questions from committee? Council? May I have a motion? Ms. Darrow? Ms. Darrow moved on 2026-074. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Go on to 2026-075, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Pay It Forward for Pets Incorporated as a best practical source to provide volunteer coordinated services at the animal control facility for a one-year term for the period of 4/1/26 through 3/31/27, an amount not to exceed $95,000 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety, Division of Animal Control, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Smoot. Yes, thank you. Tommy Smoot, Executive Department of Public Safety. Just like to move forward with a professional service agreement with Pay It Forward for Pets. They will provide volunteer coordination services and the program administration that will be limited to the training of those volunteer coordinators, and they're going to be responsible for that volunteer management piece there. So from what I understand, they've done a great job. This is renewal. This is working very well. They're really excited about having them come back, and I know we've had a long-standing partnership with Pay It Forward for Pets, and they also do a number of free things as well that helps to advertise or market the Pets for Adoption, and they have a great motto, I guess, a local nonprofit, and they're really out for the animals. So,
thanks. Committee questions? Education?
Tommy, how many volunteers do we regularly get at Animal Control?
I know there's a pretty long list, but they do have to kind of, I don't have an exact number, I can get that to you, but they do have to meet certain criteria. So they do kind of filter or credential, that's probably the better word there. So,
yeah, go ahead.
So there's a roster of volunteers who go through a pretty rigorous training, and I think it's anywhere from about 40 to 50 active volunteers. So some folks come in 3 times a week, some folks come in 3 times a month. So at any given time, there are a handful of volunteers over at the facility.
Do we have any idea as far as people hours worked, how many we're paying versus how many we're getting volunteer?
That's a great question. I was just thinking, I wonder if we calculated how many hours, so we can get that over to you.
You know, one of the nice things and easy sells about something like this is the $95,000. If you're getting the equivalent of even 5 full-time employees for that, it can be really amazing, and it's an easy sell for people. So if we can get that data, it would be great.
I would guess it exceeds that based
That's my
on
guess too.
past experience.
But, you
But
know.
yeah, we'll get that over to you.
Thanks.
I
Thanks,
would
Tom.
tell you too, based on this volunteer program, this is money well spent to manage this program for us.
And I just want to add to the Pay It Forward for Pets organization, for those who aren't familiar, also have a Pets for Vets program where they help train rescue dogs to serve our veterans, and they also have a Seniors for Seniors program that matches seniors with pets. They also run a lovely daycare that my dog has been going to for 10 years. So they have all the proceeds go back to support all these organizations, and Georgette and her team do a great job. So they're down in the Merriman Valley if anyone needs a boarding service or a daycare. Thanks, Tommy.
Sure, yeah.
Other questions? May I have a motion? Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Schmidt is moving on 2026-075. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Public Safety Committee will close at 5:24.
And I will open the Health and Human Services Committee at 5:24. First up is 2026-076, a resolution declaring the month of April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the County of Summit, and encouraging residents to join in this acknowledgement and wear Blue Day on April the 8th, 2026 for the executive, and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you for your support, your continued support of Summit County Children's Services. And this month April is going to be Child Abuse Prevention Month. It's the National Child Abuse Prevention Month. We come back every year. We receive the gracious support from the council, county council here, and so we're asking for that again. Our mission is, obviously, I always like to say this, and I ask people all the time, is what is our mission? Our mission is we are committed to the safety, permanency, and well-being of all children served in partnership with families in the community, and that's what we do. So April being Child Abuse Prevention Month, it's an opportunity for us to raise awareness in the community about child abuse prevention. Prevention strategies work. That's what reduces child abuse and neglect. So we want to work with the families in the community in order to continue to raise this awareness. So I'm going to give you some numbers real quick. Last year in Summit County Children's Services served 1 out of every 13 children. That's 8,574 children. There were 8,942 intake calls to our 24/7 child abuse neglect hotline. We're asking Summit County to join the movement with us on April 8th in wearing blue. So that will be our Wear Blue Day, and it would be absolutely awesome if County Council got together and wore blue and got a picture and sent that to Ann Ream, and I think she'd be over the moon with that. But we do get photos from all over the community, from our partners in ADM, at the Developmental Disabilities Board, various chapters of a variety of different organizations. And so we have lots of great activities planned, and I'm going to turn this over to Ann to tell you about those activities. Thank you again for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here this evening. And as Cassandra had mentioned, we do have a lot of great activities for the month of April. April 1st, we're going to be joining with our partners over at Children's Hospital to plant pinwheels for prevention, just a very visible campaign of how we work together and collaborate for that. Tower City is also turning blue. I know that's in Cleveland, but everybody sees that skyline, so just it's a nice representation, and that will be going up on April 2nd in advance of April 8th. On April 2nd, we will also be at the Akron Rubber Ducks to just be out there. Our community comes out in full force for their home opener, and we'll be out there as well raising awareness about prevention. On April 8th itself, we'll be partnering with the Akron Zoo for Wear Blue at the Zoo, and the community gets in free as long as you wear blue. It's pretty easy, blue jeans, so easy to get in. We encourage families, grandparents, and kids and families to come out to enjoy a day at the zoo for free. On April 23rd, we're bringing back an in-person training. We mentioned prevention is the solution for child abuse and neglect, and on April 23rd, we're bringing back in-person events, which is hard to do these days. We're coming down to the Akron Public Library, and it's called a close-up look at epigenetics. So it's the impact of trauma over intergenerations that show that can be passed on to intergenerationally. So we're inviting the public. That will also be on our social media, so that we invite folks to come out and learn that training that morning from 9 to noon at the Akron Public Library. And then we end the month with our appreciation breakfast, which is very well attended. We'll fill the house at House 330, inviting our community partners out. And we give awards for Champion for Children awards. We have a partner award, we have a family award, we have a youth award, which is always great to see our youth achieving and doing great things through our services, and we have a donor award as well. So we look forward to those events through the month of April, and again, we thank you for your support.
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? Council as a whole on this? Everybody okay with that?
Thank you.
Okay, great. If I could have a motion. Mr. LaCotte moves. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your good work. Appreciate it. Next up, 2026-077, a resolution declaring April 1st, 2026 as Start by Believing Day throughout the county. Summit supporting the Start by Believing campaign, which raises awareness of survivors of sexual violence and encouraging all businesses and residents alike to show their support by wearing teal on April 1, 2026 for the executive and declaring an emergency. Mr. Prosecutor.
Good evening, everyone. This is the same resolution we asked you guys to support last year. The first Wednesday of April is Start by Believing Day. This year will be April 1st. April is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we will be asking folks to wear teal on Start by Believing Day. This campaign is centered around encouraging those who are victims or survivors of sexual assault to come forward, and also offering a lot of training to various service providers and folks in those communities on how to respond to people who come forward. Studies show the vast majority of sexual assaults go unreported because they don't believe that they're going to be believed. So this program and campaign focuses on Start by Believing. We appreciated your support last year and would appreciate your support again this year.
Thank you very much. Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Council as a whole?
Please.
Great. May I have a motion? Ms. McKinney moves on 2026-077. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
I will close Health and Human Services at 5:29.
And we will open up Finance at 5:29. We have 3 items. First item is 2026-078, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Ohio Auditor of State for the 2025 financial audit for the County of Summit in an amount not to exceed $146,981 for the Internal Audit Department and declaring it an emergency.
Good evening, Council. This is our annual agreement with the Ohio Auditor of State. It's up 2.7% from last year, and the kickoff meeting's already been held, so things are underway.
Committee questions? Council questions?
I'll move.
Ms. Walters moves on 2026-078. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 2026-079, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a marketing agreement with Alliance Media for the Veteran Service Commission 2026 advertising campaign for a 1-year term from 2/15/26 through 2/14/27, with 3 options to renew for an additional 1-year term in an amount not to exceed $250,000 for the Veteran Service Commission, declaring it an emergency. No one speaking? All right. Questions, committee or council? Can I have a motion? Mr. Wilhite moves on 2026-079. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And last item is 2026-080, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of the contract identified in Exhibit A as best practical source in an amount not to exceed $200,000, confirming the applicability and confidentiality provisions under Ohio Revised Code 9.64 and 149.33 for the Office of Information Technology and declaring it an emergency.
Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. Just as a reminder, this is what we had discussed last week in the executive session.
I'll move.
Ms. Walters moves on 2026-080. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt. Hi. Could we put the 2026-079, make sure that goes on second reading, because it's an awful lot of money to not have testimony. So if we could make sure someone from VSC is here, that'd be great. Sorry. Thank you.
Fine. Okay, we'll close out finance at 5:34.